Hello and welcome everyone to the Starts Prize Forum. My name is Florina Kostumling and I'm responsible for the Starts Prize at Ars Electronica. And thank you all for being here and also for all the members on the podium. And I would like to invite on stage Paolo Cesarini from the European Commission.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to welcome today the two works that have been awarded the 2017 START Grand Prize in view of their contribution to the ongoing and long-lasting dialogue between science, technology, and arts. This is the second edition of an initiative launched by the European Commission back in 2016 with the aim to honor and give visibility to successful interactions in two broad categories. One prize goes to innovative collaborations between artists and industry. And the second goes to artistic explorations of technology that can alter people's perception and also influence the deployment of technologies in the society. In a short while, the two projects that have been honored with the 2017 START Prize will be presented by Petrus Lindström and by Chiaki Hayashi. Rockprint is a fruitful collaboration between the Grammatical Caller Research at the ETH Institute in Zurich, together with the MIT lab, the Self-Assembly Lab, and is the winner for the category of collaboration, innovative collaborations. I'm Humanity. I'm Humanity is a musical project produced and directed by Etsuko Yakushimaru, and is the winner of the category for artistic explorations. The STAR Prize is the result of a cooperation between the European Commission, the Ars Electronica Festival in Linz, the Beaux-Arts in Brussels, and the WAC Society in Amsterdam. And I'm pleased, actually, today to announce that from the work that has been done so far within this festival, and there will be a follow-up, and the two works that have been awarded the prize, and together with the other works which have been honored with other special mentions, will be exposed in Brussels at the Beaux-Arts on the 14th of September. So there will be an outreach of this event across Europe. I would like just to pause 1 second on the role of the European Commission. The European Commission used the STAR Prize as a tool, and this tool comes within the Horizon 2020 program, which is a program that supports research. It's quite an innovative way to look at the interaction between science, technology, and arts by placing these actions within a framework which so far has been reserved to pure scientists or pure technologists. We push in this direction not only through the prize, but also through other actions. One action consists in funding artistic residencies. And we have a program which now is implemented through a project, Vertigo, run by the IRCAM Institute at the Centre Pompidou. And this is funding artistic residence in technology institutions. There is a second action which will be launched later this year with a call that will be published and aims at stimulating lighthouse projects, lighthouse pilots, in two main areas. One area is about smart environments, so exploring the link between new technologies, particularly in the area of artificial intelligence and IoT. And the other area is about urban manufacturing. And here the link between technology and innovative deployments of technology to the benefit of society, where artistic explorations can actually bring forward new ideas, becomes particularly crucial. For the first time in this framework, we'll give a particular prominence to the importance to finance artists, not only the technology institutes that will be hosting these artists. 30% of the budget must be demonstrably go to the artist. To conclude, I think that it is an obvious consideration that innovation is at the core of European competitiveness. However, Europe so far has been always traditionally focusing on a particular aspect, is R&D, standardization in engineering. We need to take a leap forward. We need to understand that skills that are needed today are not only the skills that come from science and technology, are the skills that come from the creative sector. And only through the fruitful integration of these skills, we can hope to make a leap forward that keep Europe in the lead. START is a modest, but hopefully growing contribution to this challenge. And without further ado, I will give the floor now to the people that really make the work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paolo. Thank you very much for being here. We're very pleased that you've been commissioned on behalf of Paolo is here. And Alexandra and me, we are one of the jury members for Stars Prize, so we did all the applications together with the Ars Electronica team. And thanks to them, we have here 2 groups of winners. And the first group we want to go on stage, the people from the Rock Print. If you have time, go on stage, please. Thanks.
Yeah, hi, you too. We like to ask, the idea is to discuss a little bit please come in the middle. Well, congratulations are already done, I guess, yeah. But it was a very cool project, it was very beautiful. I thought if it's in this room, it would be so large, huh? You said that it was lightweight, yeah, lightweight.
Yeah, it's lightweight, yeah.
750 kilograms, and you said you have now muscles. And you can't, yeah. You don't look like that, but you should be tough in yourself, huh? Because they had to shovel all the time. Yeah, the lightweight material.
The robots are not taking all the jobs.
Yeah, the robots are doing the so-called intelligent jobs, which means giving these threat, and the humans are doing the what job? What you do call that?
Well, we actually have to tell the robots what to do, so the intellectual job is still here.
Intellectual and shoveling. Okay.
The precise job is the robot.
The precise job is the robots.
The precise job for others is messy. The messy job is for humans. Okay, and well, why not? Huh? We are messy after all. And anyway, now the questions. We have we heard the European Union and Stars Press and so on. I heard you are funded, so you don't need networking or something like that. What do you expect from such innovation, such a STARS Prize, a STARS environment? This is now the 2nd year, I guess, and now we have to find how will it develop. I'm from the industry, yeah, and in my case, from Daimler, yeah, we make the funding, we make anything on our own, yeah. So, but we are here and we're looking forward that there's something will happen. Yeah? And now I ask you, what is your idea with the STARS Prize? What is for you? What is it for you?
Yeah, if you
Come take a seat, just maybe relax.
Take a seat, yeah.
We can take a seat, okay. Well, I think that the most interesting thing that we could get from a platform like this is actually connection and communication. So we have a big problem of bridging research and bridging between research and industry. So all the things that we do in our institution are very innovative. They are very technology oriented. We do a lot of things with digital fabrication, and this is still not there outside of the university. So this, I think, is a really important question to address, at least.
So it's more a communication tool you need.
Yes, communication, collaboration.
Networking, a platform like that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, to the audience, how you selected the different expertise for this collaboration? Because you are at the grand prize of innovation collaboration between technology, industry and the arts. So very curious, because you applied for the STAR Prize. Can you explain to the people here how you selected all the expertise to make your work come true to what it is now?
I mean, we wanted to present our work, and I think we will do it. But if we were okay. So the work is necessary for. So the idea was first initialized by a physicist, or that was suggesting using the phenomenon of jamming when material jams. So basically, when granular material gets so dense they can't move anywhere. And we started to look at how can we use this to build in architecture. And basically there were two approaches. Either that we go from bulk material and we try to encode the material by having a smart fabrication method, or that we would design smart aggregates that would know what they should do and how they should behave. And in that way we got, because originally Matthias Kohler, so Professor Matthias Kohler and Skylar Tibbets met at a conference about jamming, and they started to discuss that maybe there could be a collaboration to see where can we take it. And since Skylar Tibbets and the Self-Assembly Lab, they are working a lot with a lot of things, but also with coding material by basically shaping the material or giving the material certain properties that it actually would compute by itself its geometry or how it should behave. And from our side, what we do is to inform material, so to materialize the digital by using robotic and digital fabrication methods. So that's basically where the collaboration started from.
And would you allow an artist to use the basic principles of your idea and put in a different direction approach?
Yeah, I think that's necessary also to push the project. And also regarding the first question, where I think everything comes together, is that for us to be invited here and to be able to show, we're basically showing the current state of the research, to be able to present it in a context where we can maybe look away for certain details. We don't have to discuss insulation of buildings when we look at it. That really allow us to push the project and to see that, can we use the robot? Can we build without the formwork? Can we build something? And I think this is really key to do these bigger things, because by showing, we call them demonstrators that we use.
I have a small interruption, because normally for this program is that you show your work to the people, you know, this well, and then we can have a question after. So I'm going to have an intervention now with the people from Ars Electronica. Is it okay that we have first a discussion and they present it later, or do you really want to have the work first to present? You're going to continue?
You can continue. Oh, that's nice.
Only the time.
Only
okay,
the time.
just give us the time, then we let you know.
Yeah, because the discussion is interesting, yeah, and I think they can watch that and everywhere. So, and what do you think about is it open for for playfulness, or is it too difficult to engineer the stuff?
I actually wanted to add on this exactly. So, the idea at ETH or in our institution is that in the future, in the very soon future, we will actually have to make all of our code available. So it's going to be open science platform. So theoretically, you could just take the code. It would be something like plug and play, right? This is kind of the idea. I don't know how soon is this happening, but this is the direction that we're going into, and I think
it's very cool.
I think that this is very important, because ideas has to spread.
That's very, very important, because these days between the science, the technology, and the artist, they always fight about rights. Who was the first? The original idea is very nice direction to hear.
Petrus was the first.
It is very. I think intrigued how you approach this. So from the software made and the code way, and to make the installation. Do you think that if we talk about innovating collaborations, is that a trend? Is that a must that people have more use the source and give it to others and make it open?
First, on the innovation collaboration, I think it's absolutely necessary. And from the field of, let's say, digital fabrication architecture, when we're almost only architect working at, so I can't say dates, but earlier everybody was self-learned to code. So, and we as architects that work, we are self-learned, or we're taught a little bit, but it's not a formal level. And this allows us to directly code the robots, to control the robots. But when we start to go into more complicated systems, more advanced robotic setups, many quadrocopters at the same time, or then it's necessary to collaborate with expertise in the field. I think that this is really a little bit of coding kind of allow us to communicate on a level, but it's impossible to reach a higher level without the expertise from the field.
Is it for you very important the end result or the process? Sorry.
I think the end result is more important. I don't know if Petrus agrees with me, but we are architects, right? So we should not forget about this. And exactly to what Petrus said, to link to that, we need the experts to make the thing that they're good in, but actually we care a lot about the end result.
It is very beautiful to see, if people didn't see the work, you see it later on the presentation, but if you talk about architecture, you build your first idea is make a building was maybe forever. You know, this extension of building something, and with some artists, they don't want to lose the magic in the process. They don't want to reveal the magic when they present their artwork. And when we saw as jury members your work and the whole process, and then the disruption and the eruption of it, that was really for me the trigger, really to have this back to the basics and use materials. Can you, as a team collaboration, do you want to explore different boundaries within architecture, or just stick to the concept you have now and explore that direction to make new industries or new vision how buildings could be?
I think that what we are, so in grammatical research in the group, what's really focusing on is to push it the whole way, to be able to implement project in built environment, which is actually, there are some projects going on right now. We had the fortunate situation of moving into a new lab where the roof is built by robotic fabrication method. And so from the side of an architect, there is this wanting or want to see it in the whole way, to see an end result, to see something built. But just to go back to our project, it's more basic research. We see that fully implemented, completely reversible construction is probably not going to be implemented tomorrow. So in that way, I think the whole process is very important, that we constantly maintain this ability to completely reverse the structure.
So good. Time is over.
You have to close.
Question from
the last question, a more remark. For me, it wasn't architecture, yeah, but it was kind of mobility. Yeah, mobility means today is you have one item and you move it from here to here, yeah. But if the same thing, if you reverse it, and rebuild it, then you have the movement is something else, but it's movement. Yeah, and you can rebuild it in different forms. It wasn't architecture. What do you think about that?
You can change your house every day if you want to with this.
Yeah, like these clay houses, huh? And then you grab it. Yeah, it's not only your house, but it's fine. But okay. But last question. If you look at this, if you look at this now together, so the question is, if the next exhibition would not be an exhibition, but an experiment where people could experiment with, is that possible or is that too complicated because you need a large robot and so on? So if you build something else, experiment if you say, okay, fabrication, maybe there's a room and we have the materials and the intelligence and you, as clever people, and can build something on our own with a little bit help.
I think that's completely possible. I don't know if that would be the focus of our next experiment. Probably not, but it's totally possible. Yeah.
Yeah, because I say that because if you about art, then you have to enable people to do weird stuff, what you have not thought about with these. Most often they do that, weird stuff, and therefore the experimentation is the question.
But it is in our small field of digital fabrication of architecture. It's there's a lot of conferences. It's a bit dry to say, I think, but there is conferences quite regularly where there's always workshops implemented. And so this allows for a lot of people to see, okay, how is this going on here and at other places? And I think this could also be pushed one step further, because when somebody from outside the field, I think this is necessary that they can also try, but somehow the framework exists. It could just be a bit stretched and open.
Thank you. So we're going to have afterwards a Q&A. I want to I'm Humanity, the representative from I'm Humanity on stage, if it's possible. Do you want to do a presentation? Or
you should make the presentation, I guess, huh?
you can just...
I can do that, no. Not a good idea,
no.
I guess.
The grand prize for the...
Are we
Yeah, all right.
Do we need this microphone or this? Hello? You can mix it. We can use both.
You go.
Okay, so Gergana and I will try to present our project as condensed as possible, and I will start with the initial idea, or first. Now, did it disappear? Did I? So the research project we're working on is called Jammed Architecture Structures, and Rockprint kind of was initialized in it, and our latest iteration of it is presented here at the festival. And the initial idea was, can we build something that once there's a construction load, it's stable, and as soon as load of the building is removed, it would be loose and reshapeable. And by the phenomena of jamming, where granular matters interlock, and kind of by decreasing density or changing temperature, it becomes solid. We wanted to see if we could use this phenomena to develop something. And this was the first thing we did, and then the next thing we did was this, to see if we could figure out something. Then we looked at many different possibilities. We were layering materials. Then we went to the hardware shop and bought anything we thought could work. And then we put them basically in we built our own little testing rig where we were loading materials. And we were seeing, okay, what works, what doesn't work. And quite early we realized that gravel and string works quite well. And then we thought this would be very interesting because it's bulk materials, it's cheap materials, and if we can just inform it with a little bit of smart addition, it would be very interesting to work with. So then we started to layer string and stone in a box. We made some small tests, made a wall with a door, small one, and based on this, we, at the same time, Grammar School Research were invited to exhibit at the Chicago Architecture Biennial 2015. So then we decided to try to develop the project fast and scale it up quickly. So we started by just printing, so this layer-based method inside a box and just seeing what can we do. We didn't know how the patterns work. We had no clue. And we did many experiments. And after, some time, we finally figured out what we can do. So just to quickly explain, this is just a short clip from the video, but basically the robot plays a string, and where the string is, the material is kept together, and where there's no string, the material is loose and will fall off. So the string is basically activated by that we manually we pour gravel, and then we manually pack it. And when we pack it, the string is then activated, so we're always in tension. The gravel is taking all the compression forces, and the string is taking all the tensional forces. We had the formwork we could add during construction, and then once we removed the formwork, what we see here is a lightweight material that actually had some very funny effect. It was actually kind of sticking together, so we needed to brush it a bit to get the structure to be free and to be able to show the geometry. And then in the end, we pulled the string, so it was one continuous string. In the legs is one string, and then so it's a string network, let's say. It took us 1 hour, and we could pull out the whole, all the string. And in the end, we had the material and the glass foam and the string separated, and we could completely reuse it. Then we built this structure a couple of times because we had no clue what would happen if somebody would attack it or hit it. So this is an early version of the structure, and we just want to see how it breaks. And since it's a very lightweight material, we could actually just hit it and it would collapse. With a lot of weight, this wouldn't be possible. So now I will let Gergana present what we're doing right now.
Yeah, so this is still ongoing research project that is called Jammed Architecture of Structures. And speaking of collaboration, we are 3 PhDs on it, and 2 architects, and 1 mathematician that is working on simulations. I will show you later a bit of his work. But just to explain, Petrus already mentioned, for rock print they used extremely lightweight stones. Basically, if you pour them in water, they would float. And the only reason for that was that there was, in the exhibition place, the floors were not strong enough, so they had to use lightweight materials. Now, since I joined the project, we're working only with very cheap material, the ones that the Swiss rail company uses for the railroads. And we are very much excited about the load-bearing capacities of the material. So this is just a really little sample that we loaded with this concrete block. It's about 1 ton, and it was just the very first thing to look at. And then we built a series of samples, and we loaded them in this very professional machine. And it was with the help of engineers and material scientists. So here you can see just a time lapse of loading them. We got up to forces of 200 kilonewtons. And here you can kind of see the results. So the samples break at around 180 kilonewtons, let's say, which related to the area of the samples is around 2 megapascal, which shows a really good performance. And then what we realized is actually the first thing that breaks is the stones. It's not the rope, something that we didn't expect. And we are currently trying to understand. And here, I promised to show you a bit of the work of our mathematician. So he's working on simulations, simulating the static friction between the rocks. And this was a very, very first example of just looking at the same sample in simulation and building it. Additionally to that, we are working also with fiber optic measuring devices to look at the deformation inside of these columns when loaded. And these are kind of the current results. And all of these we do actually, since we're architects, all of these we do because we want to go back to the design and inform it in a way. So we want to do a material-driven design. And this, what you see right now, it's the current structure that you can see in the post city, where we were trying to, for now, based on geometrical principles, distribute the string pattern as good as possible. And here you can see what the final structure would look like.
And on the fabrication side, just quickly, what we're doing in Post City compared to what we did in Chicago is that we don't have any formwork anymore. We're free from the box. And this is very important for us as architects, because if we want to print a building, it's not ideal to have a huge box, fill it up with material, and then remove all the material. So basically the process is very similar from before. The robot first placed the string, then now the robot is placing the gravel. It's kind of placing small parts at a time, and then we pack it. And basically, I hope you had the chance to see it in Post City. And yeah, so this is how the process looks like when the human is taken away. And then just to end, yeah, We thought it's a nice picture.
Yeah, we built the structure in our lab beforehand, so we make sure that it will happen. And this is a guy who helps us out.
Our colleague, yeah.
Our colleague.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Give him a welcome applause, one of the prize winners. So give him a big applause. They won. Come on. Next on stage, I'm Humanity, is represented. It's going to do a small presentation. Because of time pressure, we're going to see if we still have a Q&A afterwards, but we'll have a presentation. The artist, Itsuku Yukashima, am I correct? Yeah. She has a very artistic approach. She will not be here on stage, as yesterday maybe some people know for the gala, but one of the representatives is going to explain her artistic approach and work. So.
Just a moment.
Is it okay? Yeah. Okay, hello. So, how many people saw the performance of Etsuko Yakushimaru last night? Would you please, maybe half of them? Thank you. Many people asked me what she said, like what is a lyric, and also what is her artwork. So I want to introduce how she made the artwork and what is the message in it. So from the background and process and message. The background is she made a theme song for Kenpoku Art Festival in the north part of Greater Tokyo. That area once prospered a lot, and 3 big companies, including Hitachi and JX Energy Group and Nissan, were born from the single one coal mining factory. So once the area prospered, but coal mining business has gone, and that area is abundant. So we did an art festival last year, and she made music for that area. So the festival raised questions. What is the meaning of civilization, and how the culture could do the abundant area? So this is the artworks, and she made theme songs for Kenpoku Art. And the title is I'm Humanity. The concept is post-humanity music. So how she made this music is she made a music code from DNA of cyanobacteria that existed a long time ago in that area. And she made a music, then converted her music information into the genetic code again, and incorporated the DNA sequence into the microbiome DNA. So it's a little bit complicated, but I hope you understand. So took the DNA information to make music, and then converted music information into the DNA sequence, and put into the microbiome, microorganism, and duplicate that microorganism. That's how she made this music. So the concept is, what is the future music? And she thinks microorganism itself could be a music, and also the media to archive the information, and also it could be a factory of the music, because bacteria has great function to duplicate itself, so we don't need to press the compact disc anymore. But if we once incorporate the music information into DNA, then bacteria will grow itself. That's maybe the message from her, how the music industry would be. And also, bacteria has survived 3 billion years already, and it will live further along. So she wishes maybe after the human being extinct, maybe a next post-human species will find the DNA-modified bacteria, and they will decode it and listen to her music. That is the behind concept. So this is kind of the last slide. So she asked the meaning or the meaning of music or music media, but also she allowed the message on biotechnology, because United States and also the industry itself is now ready to use the latest biotechnology to make the new, like we called it smart cell industry, like use bacteria as a new way to duplicate materials. But she strongly allowed us that we are entering the new era, and it's time to consider how to go along with such innovative but disruptive technology. So that's why we chose her artworks as a start prize for this year. And before playing her music, this is a lyric of her music, because many people asked me what she says. And as you see, she repeated, stop it, stop it, stop the evolution. But the last, don't stop it. And the humans are gone. But she said, I'm humanity, good to meet you, hello, is the last message. That means she imagines maybe the post-human will find the microorganism. That is a concept of the music. So I want to play her music for maybe 1 minute before we start the discussion.
Thank you very much. I want to introduce you one of the jury members from Japan, Chiaki Hayashi, and she was representing the Stars Prize. I want to introduce now for Q&A the European Commissioner of the represented European Commissioner, Paolo, and the rock print people for a Q&A on stage. To have a small discussion about the Stars Prize, Ars Electronica. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody here, to have the time to explain the work. As you know, the STARS Prize is really an important for cross-sections, pushing the industries, pushing the boundaries, and also for collaborations. And we have the winners here representing the work. And for us as jury members, we're very curious about what you're going to do, which direction you're going to follow, and then as a representative of the European Commission, we really want to learn also from you. You're becoming ambassadors for us. It's not only winners, but you're becoming, you move forwards. Any plans and where the STARS Prize could bring you further?
Well, this is related to, I think, the first question that you asked us. We see it as a communication platform, really, and I said already about this gap between architecture and research and industry that we would like to bridge somehow.
And I think there's two other parts also. There's also this, that we can really drive our project for the exhibition where we did here, that we already mentioned before, that we could focus on just look at this aspect of the modeless fabrication. But also on the founding side, and also for the prize money, this is a very luxurious situation, because it means it's money that is not targeted for a specific thing. So it means that an idea can be tested. It could, for instance, be hiring a student for half a year to develop something, and it's a very luxurious situation where the money can be placed where there is a great idea or a great opportunity to develop something.
Maybe you can tell us what you think. What I'm Humanity was the motivation to enter the STARS Prize.
Motivation?
The idea to bring it in the STARS Prize, to bring the I'm Humanity project into the STARS Prize. Was it political or was it a message?
Not only biotechnology, but also artificial intelligence. And we are facing many fundamental questions, really, like what is human and how much we allow technology to take place instead of just a human being. And we have seen a lot of beautiful artworks using biotechnology, but how to go with such strong technology is the issue we should discuss. Like, we cannot stop it, and the industry goes it. But how human being as a culture, like a creative people, go the right direction, not only driven by industry or economy, but like we will design the direction. So that kind of discussion I want to raise, and that's why I submitted her artwork to the STARS Prize.
I have a question for Paolo, because he's now here. We are now here in Ars Electronica. It's a beautiful platform. There's more than 1,000 people, artists are from science to technology, and the arts are here coming together. The STARS Prize is European funding with collaboration with the Beaux-Arts, Ars Electronica, and the Waag Society from Amsterdam. We talk about internationalization, because we have a Japanese influence, and we have here the people, the group together. How do you see the growth of STARS Prize in terms of internationalization?
Yes, I think that is a very important point. We are putting in place several tools. The STARS Prize is one tool. Artistic residences is another tool. We want to go further. The Lighthouse pilots should also increase this outreach of a discourse that needs to be developed, which is the nexus between science, technology, and arts. There are 2 points I would like to make very clear here. One has been mentioned before, and the emphasis that has been put by Print Rock on this idea that the results need to become a more widely accessible richness, wealth. So the emphasis placed on the open nature of the result and its dissemination for future collaborations, it's a way to increase the outreach of these inventions. And so it's very important for me. The other aspect is actually intrinsic to the project I'm Humanity. I think everything that put the people in a better condition to be aware where the technology is actually driven us and how they can help us to understand this puzzling dichotomy between me and the other, or me and the other myself, it is extremely useful, and I think only arts can contribute to that dialogue.
But I have another question on that. Are there any plans, if they tell us it's a communication platform now, the STARTS prize and the process, are there any plans to professionalize this communication platform?
Yes, we hope so. Actually, we need to do more. We need to have, the European landscape is quite complex. There is the Commission.
What is not?
There is the member states, there are the regions, there are different streams of fundings. I think we need to think how is the best way to bring these interlocutors together and also expand perhaps beyond the boundaries of the pure research funding programs, and to see links with those programs that support regions, cities. Links, we have a beautiful example how the city can actually be regenerated through culture and arts and technology working together. And the process is just started. So STARTS is also something that has just started, but it is hopefully moving on in that direction.
So you have now collaborated, so what Paolo was saying, Beaux-Arts is now where you can maybe work together or exhibit, correct? Is that the idea? And we as jury members, when we see the artistic approach, the science approach, it can be very confronted sometimes in terms of what's going on outside. And for me, as a jury, I'm very curious how you both see the interpretation that art can trigger or influence public opinion. Could you give a comment on that?
From our field, I think it's very good as from the digital fabrication of architecture to be able to reach out and to show that it is wider than it. It doesn't need to be so monodisciplinary. We don't have to be specialists in black polo sweaters making rooms. And I think that it's really to have this kind of interaction is also good for ourselves to speak, to get ideas from other sides. So, but I think since we are architects, maybe the question can be better answered by an artist.
Yeah. No, but it is. Oh, sorry. So, I'm director of Aegis van Herpen company. We won the STARS Prize 2016. So I experience now the benefit from being nominated. I experience now the questions we got from the science. We have now a wider field. People approach us who are not from the fashion industry, but also from the science, material technology. And we are not non-experts. As artists, we have non-experts in terms of science. We have non-experts in technology. But we challenge them. We love to push the boundaries. We really ask non-logic questions to a science or technology. They're getting annoyed by that. It's very funny. But that makes also cohesion to move forward and to awake. Did one of you experience that as an architect, or you as one of the jury members to reach out to institutes to make aware that there is a need to collaborate or a need to share the expertise?
Yeah, I mean, probably the situation with architects and engineers is kind of the same. You know, I think, I know from Petrus, because he actually started the project, that in the beginning, no engineer would believe that this would happen. right? They were saying this is just not possible. But then the architect is the one that is just doing it without thinking so much in the first place. And then once you show it to the engineer's like, wow, no, this works, but I don't know why. So this is kind of right? Or?
Yeah. Then they want to find out how it works, and this is the trigger. And it is, for us, it's really, once again, this demonstrates that we have the chance to focus on one aspect of it and just push it. It's kind of the trigger needed to be able to really go in depth into it. But we need to see it before we do it somehow.
Yeah. Yes, the situation is the same because I was a working group of government policy group on the biotechnology, and the Government Center for Biotechnology invited us, and because they expected only scientists would be interested in joining the tour. But the result is lawyers, musicians, designers, and business people, like very wide range of people applied for the tour. And like scientists were really surprised, like why you are interested in this technology. And that's how this music was born. So like interdisciplinary, group of people discuss and collaborate together is really important. And also the previous question you asked about public acceptance, like discussion among the jury was very unique to me because like you from Europe and you from United States and I'm from Asia, like attitude to the biotechnology was really different. Like US, like I work for MIT Media Lab, like they love it. Let's do it. Let's make a wet lab. Let's do the experiments. And in Europe, people said, oh, this is very risky and this is awful. And Japan is kind of middle. And that's exactly the jury discussion. But what is unique of Etsuko's work is she is not straightforward approach. Like she doesn't explain or claim anything. She just make a song, pop song. But meaning is very political. So I learned, okay, to make a good influence on the normally people is not only give a talk or speech or conference, but very soft power or fashion, design, could give a huge impact on the public. And that's what I learned from our conversation and also from her.
There's a new, I think, hidden industry starting now, especially when all the collaborations from science, technology, and the arts is like this hidden stream. And the private sector is keen to see the process, to embed the process. And a question to you, Paolo. Do you think the private sector could be a contributor to the STARS Prize?
Yes, I think it is fundamental. Well, what we're trying to do is to seed initiatives that show that something concrete and tangible can come out of it. Something that is of interest not only for the world of culture and arts, but also for the world of industry. Now, the question is, especially for the world of industry, is when you look at the innovation process in companies, that is a quite secretive process. People keep their own inventions very much for themselves until they can patent it and rely on intellectual property rights in order then to appropriate the full benefit of their research. This initiative actually invites a different type of thinking. I mean, through collaborations which are cross boundaries, a new way of approaching innovation is also to be stimulated, which relativize the scope of intellectual property. That is a challenge.
But probably to answer from the industry side, this is changing now, because the patents, if you look at the patents, if you look at real patents, yeah, just sort them out and watch them and go deep inside, then it's more about the building and construction process. It's not about like your thing, the principle, yeah, but then more the surrounding, huh? Yeah, to make it applicable. So these patents are not are not hindering open innovation. Yeah, if your thing is open innovation, yeah, you can say you can make that with the thread and the stones, then all the patents would be later on how to apply that for whatsoever skyscraper, 100 meters high.
Yes,
or
I guess
something.
the issue is about the long discussion about what is a blocking patent, how follow-on innovation can actually be stimulated by intellectual property.
So, but again, my question again, because I think the world is complicated now. The second year or third year it starts. It's a long time, a second year, and we think industry 2 years is a long time. So about professionalization, because we as Daimler, for example, I can't do that. Yeah, it's impossible to say Daimler makes open innovation with Ars Electronica and invites other artists. It's a little bit crazy. Yeah, but it's a political thing. We heard that political here, yeah, and in a way there too, to make open it up. What's about the platform? What I'm missing, I miss it, yeah, is because we make our projects ourselves, yeah, as Daimler ourselves with our money. What I miss is a kind of a development in the starts price. So what's your don't answer difficult.
No, actually I take your point, and I think it's a valid point, and it's a matter for I think further discussions, how this can be developed into a platform that has this role that you are expressly...
Yeah, what I expect now would be for next year, I would expect a kind of a service offer, yeah, a service offer from political or what's it, from institution service offer that I, as Mercedes and as artists, yeah, or as medium scientist, artists or something, yeah, can use, both parties could use. To make the process easier, simpler, to have mentoring, for example, yeah, to help people to get in contact with the right others and so on.
Yeah, understand what you mean. Indeed, we mentioned two lighthouse pilots, but there is also another underlying action that will be announced by the end of the year, actually end of October, beginning of November, which is a support action that is about community building and networking.
Will that be part of the Stars Prize?
No, it will be part of the STARTS initiative at large.
But that is also quite confusing, to be honest, to have all this European funding, but it's not a discussion. Sorry, we have to wrap up. Thanks for coming, everybody. Giving a welcome applause to the winners. And thanks, Paolo, for coming here. Thank you.